Hey everybody, welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
And welcome to Food and Family Month on the show. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
Isn't that special?
If you're hearing this, we just want to say thank you and that you are part of So Many Sequels family. You're part of the sequel and the franchise that we have created over these last more years than I can remember.
Maybe 8, I feel like, is a solid number.
And like all family, we're here to ask you for money. I'm just kidding. We're not asking
you for money, but we are asking you to talk about the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
Join us in the chat. We want to have a conversation. It's been a while since we've heard from you, family.
Yeah, go follow us online. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Discord. SoManySequels.com. You can find all that stuff there. Oops, didn't mean to punch my computer, but I did.
Wow, that's abuse.
But this week, we're going to be talking about Uncle Buck here on the show, the 1989 comedy from John Candy and John Hughes, John Squared.
Yes.
That is David's pick. You'll be telling us in a minute why you picked this movie. But let me kick it off with just a little premise from our friends at Letterboxd. Buck Russell, great name, a lovable but slovenly bachelor, suddenly becomes the temporary caretaker of his nephew and nieces after a family emergency. His freewheeling attitude soon causes tension with older niece Tia, loyal girlfriend Chanice, and just about everyone else who crosses his path. David, what was going on in the theaters when this came out?
Well, it was actually a fairly successful run. So Uncle Buck debuted the weekend of August 18th, 1989. An argument could be made that 1989 one of the best years for film. I'll go over that here in just a minute.
Also for births.
That's true. The film debuted to $8.7 million and the number 1 spot. It would just ahead of number 2 was Parenthood. At number 3, The Abyss. At number 4, Casualties of War. And at number 5, a previous film we reviewed, When Harry Met Sally, in its 6th weekend. Uncle Buck would have a 3-week run at number 1 in the at the box office before sliding to number 2 in its 4th weekend. It would go on to make $66.7 million in the United States, an estimated 12.5 overseas for a worldwide total of $79.2 million. That is the 6th highest grossing of a film starring John Candy in one role or another. 5th highest here in the U.S., but he had obviously the Home Alone hits. Home Alone was a big hit overseas, so that one kind of is his biggest hit. When even though he's kind of a small role in that. Budget is pretty low on this. I read some interesting stuff about how they saved money on this movie. We can talk about it a little later. It ended up being the number 18 movie of 1989. Which, again, just a fantastic year. So I'm going to read just some of the top movies of 1989, and, it's just hit after hit. You got Batman, you got one of my top 4 in one of our previous movies, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Lethal Weapon 2, Look Who's Talking, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Back to the Future Part 2, Ghostbusters 2, Driving Miss Daisy, Parenthood, Dead Poet Society, which we also just reviewed for the podcast. You had When Harry Met Sally, The War of the Roses, they just made a remake of that. Little Mermaid, Steel Magnolias, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Turner and Hooch, and Born on the 4th of July. Those were all the movies that were ahead of Uncle Buck that year. Uncle Buck, number 18. So just a fantastic year all around. It is our 7th movie that we've done from 1989. You can go look up our 1989 movies if you want to see more of those. But that's the main takeaway. Huge, great year. 2 John Hughes movies in the top 20, with Christmas Vacation also being on that list. So that's your box office rundown for Uncle Buck.
So why did you pick Uncle Buck, and what were your expectations for it?
Well, Garrett presented this idea of family and food, and I thought to myself, I don't know what that means. I can't think of any food movies. So I started thinking about family movies, and I started thinking, are there any movies that are about a specific family member? And sure enough, what was the first thing that came to my head? Good old Uncle Buck, starring John Candy. Everybody loves an uncle. Uncles are fun because they are big brothers that can
that have money.
That have money, exactly.
Except if you're Buck, I guess.
If you're Buck, you're living by the track. But anyway, I I don't know, something about that. I was like, that's a movie that's about family in a sense, and I think that was at the core of what we were trying to do. It's also kind of an unconventional kind of family situation, so I thought, let's do that. I haven't seen it since I was probably 11. I don't know. I can't remember when I last saw Uncle Buck. So I wanted to give it a shot. I thought to myself, John Hughes movies either hold up amazing or hold up really poorly. So let's give it a try.
That's true.
And so here we are.
Yeah, they're really good at, or he was really good at, kind of like tapping into the zeitgeist of the moment, and that would hold up or not, just like in real life, I guess. This one I think held up mostly pretty well, though. I'll say I hadn't seen it since I was a kid either. And so it's funny, my memories of it, I was thinking about it, were kind of closer to the kids, where I was like, my memories of it are almost negative, just because I'm like, yeah, I don't like Uncle Buck either. I don't want I don't want Uncle Buck to come over. Look at what he did. But I was able to basically kind of have fresh eyes watching it this time, because I know it's going to be a much different perspective, and it was. There's a lot of it where I'm almost wondering, like, would this even, I don't even know if this is a realistic plot line today. But yeah, that was kind of what I thought. What were your expectations, Garrett?
Well, so I had never seen it.
Right.
This is my first experience with Uncle Buck. I'm a huge John Candy fan, but this is one that I had never sat down to watch. But I had always associated it with the holiday, family time kind of season. But not knowing anything, I went in kind of expecting it to follow that path, to be one of those movies that falls into, like, John Hughes kind of Home Alone level of, like, family comedy type thing. And I was very incorrect with what I got, to my great entertainment, because I was freaking howling at moments of this. I would even call Macaulay Culkin in this, for me, a jump scare, because I didn't know he was in it. And so when he showed up, I was like, what in the world is baby Macaulay doing in there?
See, that's delightful, and I wish I could experience that.
It was so great, because seeing this for the first time, I absolutely 100% understand why John Hughes went, I need to make that kid a star and not a side character, because Macaulay Culkin was a star in this. When he was on the scene, it was him. It was just him. And it was so good to see that for the first time. Man, so I'm excited to talk about it.
I love that. I wish I could. Yeah, it's one of those movies that would be great to experience again for the first time, for all those reasons. Let's get into it here. So Uncle Buck is kind of the, he's the slob. We get from the premises earlier, he's the slovenly bachelor uncle who has to be called upon because his brother Bob, his wife Cindy, they've got 3 kids together. Miles, right? Miles, Maisie, and Tia. Their grandpa, Cindy's dad, has a heart attack. They can't find a sitter because they've got to travel. They call Buck. He's all they've got left. Nobody wants this. Cindy doesn't want this. Bob doesn't want this.
Tia really doesn't want
this.
Buck also don't.
Buck doesn't seem to want this either, but he
But
signs
he's also
up for
Buck's
it.
looking for any reason to get out of going to work in the morning.
He doesn't want to go to work. He's not been to their house since they moved. So here kicks off this grand adventure. What do you guys think about? Let's talk about John Candy here, just to open it up. I feel like there's a couple ways you could do the character of Buck, and I really like the route he chose, because he's not like you don't look at him and think, oh, look at that piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't look like a big slob necessarily.
No.
He's a big guy, I guess, and sometimes he's wearing a lot of clothes. But he keeps his appearances about himself. How did you guys feel about him and his approach to this character?
Well, I think that like if you give John Candy, I highly respect as a comedian and an actor. Like I thought that he had in general he had a lot of depth. There's a new documentary about him, directed by Colin Hanks called "I Like Me," obviously cueing off his line from Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. But there's something about John Candy in almost every performance that he is maybe someone that you're not sure you're gonna like, but by the end, there's just something about him that wins you over every time. He's just got such a warmth to him at times, and yet he's like, he's kind of he as a character, Buck is very nice, but he's just sort of, I guess, just if he has any problem, he's just afraid of committing. He's afraid of moving his life to the next step because he thinks he has everything he could ever want.
He's got a ton of commitment issues with his girlfriend.
So he's sort of a self-saboteur in some ways, but he is. I thought that Candy in this was both funny and charming, and then also very scary at times. He also can bring the terror when he needs to. I really enjoyed him to start this.
I've always seen him as such a lovable idiot teddy bear situation. This is the first time that I'd ever seen him really kind of gruff, and I would equate this to my familiarization with him in Cool Runnings, where he's got that kind of gruff start, but it's more comedic than this. And this was comedic, but like in an adult way, whereas Cool Runnings was more for kids focused. And so for me, again, expecting a more kid-friendly focus, seeing him was so unexpected for what I was looking for in this, because it wasn't a lovable idiot. It was like, this guy is, he's just kind of not got his stuff together and really playing it as just a human, but with some comedic undertones there. And I just was really impressed. I'm always impressed with John Candy because he was always such a good actor. No matter what he did, he was able to bring a softness to anything that you can just relate and connect with him, even if you don't like him or he's not presenting in the most favorable fashion. He is so endearing and watchable every second that he's on the screen, and that goes from movie to movie. But in here, he really delivered as an adult, and he was believable as a slob. David, I said the one thing that he can't do very well is be intimidating, because I just want to hug him.
Yeah.
Even if he's threatening me, I just want to give him a hug. But then later in the movie, that changed. So.
True, he does.
Just to kind of move into he moves in with them. The parents leave for the week. The kids are a little suspicious of him to start. There's one, Tia is just a jerk. I mean, like,
typical teenage girl. Yeah.
I mean, she's
mean.
She's like on another level mean.
If I have a criticism for the movie, it's that Tia is so mean that, like, I don't have any sympathy for her. And, like, I feel like they need to just do some little thing to get me to be like, well, I understand. She's gone through this change. There's something else that's really hurting her. But she was like, I think Uncle Buck's being kind of cool, and you're being a bit of a jerk to him for no real reason. Like, this would be a pretty easy week for you. Your mom and dad are gone. Uncle Buck he's got rules, but he's not going to be, like, on your case about stuff. But anyway, there's the scene where Macaulay comes around the corner and sees him for the first time, and he's just like, he's just all scared.
Who are you?
The interrogation scene is hilarious, where they do the questions, and he's, you have a job? No. Are you married? No. Any kids? No. Longer story. That whole sequence is hilarious. But what stands out to me is, like, Uncle Buck is, like, the way the parents talk about him is like, oh, I don't want Uncle Buck around. He's irresponsible, and he's not the kind of people I want my kids hanging around. But then he shows up, and he's like surprisingly overprotective of his nieces and nephew. He gets them up, he gets them breakfast, he gets them to school on time. Like, I mean, he goes home and he kind of lazes around because there's nothing else for him to do. But, like, he's all like, he's really mean to Tia's boyfriend. Like, he doesn't have to do any of that stuff. Like, this is an easy gig for him. He's got nothing to do but get these kids to and from school, and he doesn't have to do anything extra.
a predator.
I know. I'm saying, but I'm just saying, Buck doesn't have like if Buck was the bad guy that their mom like thought he was, he wouldn't be doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
He'd be encouraging her to go do everything you want to do. He'd be like encouraging her bad behavior if he was such a jerk.
But you got to remember the time. You know, this is 89. Buck is not married. He is stringing Shanice along for 8 years. He's never had a real job. He's just kind of so by those standards and terms, you know, he would definitely be seen as someone who is not a role model.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for that time frame, because you know, his brother, his sister-in-law, they're all ashamed of that he just doesn't have anything to his name. You know, that kind of stuff where it's just like, you guys are just elitists. Really? That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they act like he's they act like he's the neighbor that comes over in the Christmas vacation. Because like even if you look at like the poster, I don't know if you guys ever seen the poster for Uncle Buck. It's like Uncle Buck knocking on the door, and like the entire family's trying to keep him out as though he's like this annoying uncle that comes around from time to time, and they don't want anything to do with him.
Right.
Which really is an odd poster because that's really not how the movie plays out at all. But yeah, I really thought that the early scenes, he wins over Macaulay's character. He wins over Miles and Maisie really, really quickly.
Right. He doesn't do things the way mom and dad do. He doesn't know how to do basic household chores. But it doesn't stop him from figuring something out. He doesn't talk to adults like adults do. Like one of the funniest moments was just hearing John Candy go through all those wart puns.
Yeah.
When he meets the assistant principal. Like, it killed me. It was very like
Austin Powers-esque.
Yes. I'm Buck Melanoma.
It felt like the assistant principal should have been meaner to him before getting to that point.
Right.
But I love that like the assistant principal is so rude about Maisie. Of all the kids, Maisie.
Right.
And she's like, she's a dreamer and a silly heart, and she doesn't take her career seriously as a student. And
well, it's clearly some kind of messed up school because there's another scene where I don't remember what the kid says, and he goes, "Blasphemer!"
when she says GD.
Oh, that's right. She says,
You
"He
know.
can't fix the GD washing machine," and he goes, "Blasphemer!"
Blasphemy!
What kind of teacher are you?
Obnoxiously. It's 1980s, I guess.
Yeah.
Those bad words. You can't say GD in first grade. This is off topic, but just to talk about a moment I found that I couldn't stop laughing at was him trying to figure out how to go to the bathroom in those short urinals.
Oh my God,
Brother, don't. That's what I kept saying.
Don't.
I was like, man, don't. You
shouldn't even be in there.
Smoke in a school. You can't smoke in a school. I know it's 1989, but you can't smoke in a school. 2, you are a giant human being just by general terms.
yeah.
You cannot fit there. That
Like,
is just.
He gets down
He
on
got
one
down
knee to do it.
to propose to it. You know, I propose that this works, please.
He did. Can you imagine the logistics of how he was doing that? You
It's
ever,
such
you ever kneel
it-
and do that? I haven't.
It's probably the most juvenile thing in the movie to do like bathroom humor, but it was just so funny. Just the image of
No,
it.
it's perfect for
Candy's
that because
commitment.
it's not toilet humor. You know what I mean? It's different. The humor is
Urinals.
he's so large, and
It's
those
the fat
urinals
guy in
are
a little
so
coat.
small.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like John Candy was bigger than like the average dude. Even like he's a tall man. David, you've certainly experienced it going into your son's school or something, and it's like, what are you? I was supposed to sit in this tiny chair and talk to this teacher?
Yeah, again, like these chairs are like all the way here at the ground.
Yeah. Why?
I ain't got the knee strength for this
No,
anymore.
I'm squatting when I'm sitting.
I do want to say one of the things about this movie that really is it kind of blew me away to think about. To save money, they went to a school, like a big school there in the Chicago area, I believe, and they just rented their gymnasiums, and they built most of the indoor sets are just built in these gyms. They made them into sound stages. Even the inside of the house that they're in for the whole movie is just they built all of that inside a gymnasium. And then they shot all the exterior stuff where they had to do that. The school, they went to the elementary school that's on the campus and just shot in there for a while. But that just kind of blew me away. That
Pretty sure they did that for Home Alone too.
Yeah, they built they constructed the innards of the house from Home Alone inside a school gym, I believe.
Yeah, that's a wild way to do it.
Must have been a John Hughes thing.
Yeah, they built the whole thing in fairly short amount of time. They built them in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Interesting.
So well done.
Back to kind of getting to like the whole inciting incident here, and this is Tia is his real enemy in this movie. You know, they make her so mean. We talk about, and she essentially just kind of ruins Buck's life. Like really takes it to the extreme. Causes Shanice to break up with him. She thinks he's cheating with
Laurie Metcalf,
with the crazy neighbor. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But that was also a surprise jump scare.
It was.
There was a lot of surprise castings for me.
Well, the woman who plays Shanice actually was Gladys in Weapons.
Yes, it took me a second to realize that as well, but I did. What a jump.
Very crazy. Very crazy. There's a lot. I actually looked in, also off topic, but the little girl who plays Maisie plays Bruce Springsteen's mom in this new Springsteen movie that's out.
Whoa.
She plays Jeremy Allen White's mom.
Wow.
It's become a weirdly well connected to 2025.
It is weirdly connected. But anyway, yeah, because that's kind of the fighting happening is Buck versus Tia, while we're just waiting for the parents to come home here. She basically uses it as a reason to sneak out, meet up with Bug, who, you know,
is a jerk.
Yeah. What does he do? Exactly what Buck said he was going to do.
Exactly what you think.
Pressuring her. She's 15. Pressuring her to have premarital sex. This is where we see Buck at his most intimidating. He is very threatening to this boy, appropriately so. But also to the point of like, okay, that's a bit much, Buck. He like puts him in the trunk and tapes his hands up.
No, it wasn't.
Stuff like that. I was like, that's kidnapping, Buck.
Not in 1989. It was totally legal.
He popped that trunk. I said, "You can't kidnap him, Buck."
When he saw the door, when he drilled the door open and burst it open, then he's like, this look on his face. This kid. Yeah. I looked it up. There are a few YouTube videos that have recut the Uncle Buck as a horror movie, and it works. You know.
I believe that. I can see that.
Anyway, that's kind of it. The movie just kind of ends there. They come
ultimately home. That's what wins Tia over. Is she sees that Bug is doing exactly what John Candy said he wanted to do. She goes off. They kind of rekindle. I mean, like he finds her. I was laughing as he kind of made his way through the party scene because I was like, "There's too many people at this party." I was like, I know it was a different time, but how could this be fun? Look at how many people are at this party. Too many kids. He finds the guy. He's with a different girl. He's moved on. But that doesn't stop Uncle Buck. He locks him in the trunk. They chase him down with golf balls. They have a grand old time. And then at that point, the movie's kind of over.
Bob and Cindy come home.
Yeah.
Buck heads home. Credits roll.
Yeah, it kind of has a weird, where it just kind of ends ending. Buck and Shanice, you think, are going to finally be together and live off into the sunset of happiness and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I did think the ending was a little bit rushed, but overall, I really enjoyed it.
One of the scenes that we hadn't talked about yet, and it kind of plays into the food part of Family and Food, is for Miles' birthday, which is crazy that his parents are out of town for his birthday. But for Miles' birthday, Buck makes him some gigantic pancakes.
Oh, man.
With whole sticks of butter. Loved it.
And like sausage links sticking out the bottom, like
how did somebody have a flat skillet that big?
You know what?
It's like a big pizza skillet.
That annoyed me too, and I let myself be annoyed for 10 seconds, and then I just moved on from it.
Well,
I was like, there's no way you could make that.
I thought he was making pizza, but then it came around, and I was like, oh, they're giant pancakes with like syrup just billowing off it. There's the sequence where he punches the clown that shows up drunk. Get back in your mouse and go home.
I want to move over to Macaulay real quick and talk about some of his show-stealing lines, because he had some amazing ones. Off mic, I had talked about they were trying to find a babysitter for them, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get the neighbors to come." And he was like, "I don't like the neighbors." He yells at his dog or something for being a ball sniffer, and his mom was like, "Don't say that word," and he goes, "I don't know another word," and that killed me because I knew he didn't. He just heard he overheard somebody say something and didn't know what it meant, and he just said what he heard.
His dad comes in and he goes, "What's the other word for balls?" And then he takes a few moments in the hallway and he goes, nuts, I got it.
Yeah. And he's doing the dishes out there and just cleaning the house. Man, it was amazing to see him perform at such a incredible level at such a young age. Even then.
I liked when Tia kissed her boyfriend and he said, that's a pretty stupid thing to do during flu season.
Oh, he said, you kick me around. I'm an American. I have rights. That's what it was. Yeah. Like, oh, man.
All right. Well, I think it is time to get into our final review and rating of Uncle Buck. David, your choice, your first honors of christening the rating.
I really like Uncle Buck. I think it's a very solid movie. I have my criticisms that I don't think some of the tension relieves itself very well. There's a scene in it that I still really like where Buck is sort of, after his girlfriend dumps him, he's sort of drinking beer again. He's drinking with the dog. And he goes on this little monologue about how everyone used to tell him he had it made, he had the perfect life. And he's like, and I did. But nobody really says that anymore at this point in his life. And he's sort of thinking about all the things that he wants different. And I just always thought that was a really great scene in a movie that has a lot of funny scenes. It's like a really nice little a moment of reflection. It's a good movie. I'm going to give it 4 stars. And I think, I might watch it. I don't know. I might watch it again before the year's over. I really enjoyed it. And I could maybe be talked up to a higher rating, but I think it's a solid movie. I think a lot of people should give it a try.
What do you think, Garrett? First timer?
I agree that I had a ton of fun. It certainly was not what I expected, which is why it enhanced a lot of it for me. Really solid message, really solid performances from John Candy and Macaulay Culkin specifically. Again, these kinds of movies have a certain ceiling for me, but this one I'm going to give just a little bit more than that, and I'm going to go with 3.75. It's not quite a 4-star movie for me, but it is really, really good.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot too. It's a great nostalgia movie. A lot of good jokes to still laugh at. I'm gonna give it 3.5.
Cool.
3.75 doesn't quite exist, but I would probably agree with you, Garrett, that it's probably closer there. So
that's not true. For me, a 3.75 is the 3.5 with a little heart on it.
Okay. There you go.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yep. Okay, that's gonna do it for Uncle Buck. Let's see what Letterboxd thinks of it while we think up those guesses. Is it? Who has to do? Is it me guessing first still?
Yes.
Oh, dang it. Well, okay, then I'm going to guess. I think Garrett and I are probably close. I'm going to guess 3.6.
Okay. I'm next. I'll say 3.4. I'll see if it's on the lower side of the 3.5 scale.
Well, I was going to say 3.6 initially, so I'm just going to drop it because I agree. I think it's going to be 3.5, like a solid 3.5.
Okay. Let's hear what we got here. Oh, I didn't even read. Let me read some of the best ones first before I reveal the winner, now that I know who it is. Okay, 4 stars. Macaulay Culkin's true masterwork. 3.5 stars. Tia is such an annoying bitch. I would have pummeled that kid. No stars. 1 heart. Uncle Fuck. 3 stars. That humongous stack of pancakes is a birthday dream.
Yeah.
And then finally, 3.5 stars. I don't like the fact that people don't talk about John Candy anymore. That man deserves recognition at all times.
Yes.
Yeah,
now,
John Candy was great.
The winner this week, because we do have a direct hit even. 2 points. Goes to Garrett, 3.5.
Oh, no.
I know.
He's running away with it now.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not good. He is running away with it.
Garrett is at 21 points to my 16 and Josh's 12.
Wow.
It might be unwinnable for Josh at this point.
It might be. I might be out of contention. We'll have to do the math.
I hope not, because I like it when it comes down to the wire.
I know. I can keep trying. Yeah. I'd have to get nothing but net from now on if I was.
You'd have to. You can do it. I believe in you, Josh.
We'll see.
If you put your mind to it, you could guess right.
Yeah.
That's true.
If Josh hits 5 straight 2-pointers, then I think he would win.
It can be done. All
Or
right.
he'd lose by 1. Either
We've
way.
got more food and family fun movies coming up this month, so be sure you follow us online. Go to somanysequels.com. You can get us on Instagram and Threads and all that good stuff. We are on every podcasting app pretty much.
Yeah.
But our videos are on YouTube and Spotify, so go subscribe there. And then Apple Podcasts, all the other podcast apps, you can find us. And all that's at somanysequels.com, so go check it out. We'll be back